Florida State and Wake Forest this weekend. Florida State opens up as an 8.5-point favorite. We'll talk about this game more on Wednesday night. I thought I was not looking forward to the Stanford preview. I am, boy, I'm gonna have to fight through that one. But Florida State opens up as a big favorite again. Not surprising. They've been a favorite in all but one game that they have lost this year. They've been a favorite 3 times in dropped games: Pitt, Stanford, and Virginia. When you think about that, weren't they a 10, 7, 17, 18? Yeah, so with like a total of like 35 points worth of favorites across those 3 games, and you come away with losses in all 3. But Vegas is doubling down, and we'll preview this game more as it comes along. Richie, you and I haven't talked since Florida State put out the statement and said that they were going to evaluate at the end of the year. So maybe just like big picture thoughts there, because I haven't really talked with you about this. And then I do want to talk in this first kind of opening segment. Could an embarrassing loss against Wake potentially get them to change their minds or what? But anyway, overall thoughts first.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think we know we have a lame duck, like, right? It's a president in his last year, potentially, that, he's on a second term. So, his last year, what does he really care? That's kind of the vibes I'm getting from this program right now. I think a loss to Wake, I don't know if that would cost Norvell his job, simply because if you were going to fire him, you would have done it after that Stanford loss with the bye week coming up. And, putting out that statement was just really frustrating to me, saying we're going to do a comprehensive review. Like, what the hell is there to review comprehensively at this point? Like, we've seen everything. We've seen all we need to see at this point. I just don't understand where, and Michael Alford has been very good to both TJ and myself personally. He's been a friend of the show. He's an amazing person, amazing human, but I don't know what he's thinking. And I just think that statement was embarrassing as a Florida State fan and booster and someone who donates to the Battle's End. I was just embarrassed when I read that statement, basically saying Mike gets a free pass until the end of the year. I don't care if Mike wins every single game the rest of the season. He has to go.
Yeah, at this point, I think he's shown you enough. And we talked about this last week, not to continue to belabor this point. But even if he did win every game for the rest of the year, I feel like he's shown you enough of who he is, right? And what are you going to finish with? A top 20 class? Like, I just don't know, not to go so far into this, but man, I was looking at some of I forget who it was that posted it, but somebody posted like all of the busts that we've had.
Quarterback.
It's really, well, not even just quarterback, just everywhere. You think about like all the 4-stars that Mike has actually recruited, because we've talked about this. Like, Florida State has continued to bring in, not good enough for our standard, but like top 20 classes. I think he's only had one class outside the top 20. It was his first year when he got signed like a month before signing day or whatever. So I mean, that one I don't care about. I mean, the bust rate is so incredibly high. And so it's not just the bad recruiting. It's the bad development. It's the, reaching for guys that are not good enough, to play at a lot of Power 4 schools. And you have found a way to let them make it on your roster. And so anyway, yeah, I mean, we're in full agreement. I have done a couple of videos since the announcement was made, and most people are pretty frustrated on that. I don't know. Hey, I'll get right back to the video, but I do want to give our friends over at Tallahassee Ford some love. Appreciate my buddy Bill McKinney and all the fine folks over at Tallahassee Ford. You guys remember Jonathan Vickers, who played at FSU. He works in the sales team over there. Listen, you may be in the market for a car, you may not, but if you're anywhere watching this video, they can deliver your car to you if you're in the Florida area or the surrounding areas, whether you're in Atlanta or Tennessee or Georgia, anywhere, or Alabama, whatever you're looking for. And when it comes to a car, hit up my friends at Tallahassee Ford. They will not be beat on price, and they will not be beat on service. It's a one-stop shop. You don't talk to 15 different people. They have a very family-friendly atmosphere there. Take your kids by. They're always doing stuff for kids, whether that's events in town or whatever. Make sure that you hit up Tallahassee Ford. I've got a link to them in the description. You can search their info online as well. My buddy Bill McKinney will take care of you, and so will all the fine folks over there.
He's never had a winning season with his entire roster, right? Jordan Travis was the one thing he inherited that kept him afloat. He gets credit for bringing in, Jermaine Johnson here, Thomas Jerry and Jones, Jared Verse, you name it. But he's never had a winning season with his own roster. And that's kind of where my mind is at. And we're not going to have a winning season this year. Spoiler alert to anyone who thinks we might.
So my thoughts on Wake, who got a win yesterday against SMU, and they tried to lose. Did you watch that? Like, there were other games on that were better, but Wake was really good. Like, from a drama standpoint, it was just a terrible from like an execution standpoint. Did you see the end of the Wake game?
I did not.
Wake fumbled twice inside of the 5-yard line, down 2 both times. They were down 2, fumbled twice instead of the 5-yard line. SMU gets the ball back, can't get a first down, and then has to punt the ball back. Wake has one long pass into field goal range and then makes a 50-yarder as a walk-off winner.
I did see that kick that went through the uprights, but still hit like the post.
Barely went through.
Yeah.
I had a pretty big bet laying the other way. It was a 5-team parlay, and that was the one that missed it, just to let you know. So I hate Wake even more, but maybe they'll, we'll see if I hate them or not after this weekend even more. But dude, look at Hunter saying Richie bless you, because we all saw you sneeze a million times. Yeah. What I worry about with Wake is nothing to do with them. They're not. I mean, they scored 13 points on SMU. It's just all us. It's just all that Florida State feels like they will find a way to lose anything, and that's where this team feels like it's at. I do think that if they were to lose an embarrassing game against Wake Forest, not by like 3. I mean, because really any loss to Wake is embarrassing. But if they lost this game by like 14 plus and they really weren't competitive and you guys kind of had guys like quitting, like the quit factor was there, I think there's a chance they would let him go. I think there's a chance they would say, all right, it's too toxic at this point. But I don't even know why that makes sense at that point. You got 4 weeks left. You just suck it up and you finish it out. What would you put your percentage at? Florida State loses this game by 2 touchdowns. What's your percentage they let him go?
I'd say 50-50. And it's ironic that we're talking about Wake. I remember my freshman year, I sat at a night game in the rain. Wake Forest beat us 30-0. And I had friends from out of town that came with me that I got them into the game. And I was just sitting there staring at the field for probably 10 minutes like this, and like, Richie, we got to get out of here. We got parties to go to. And I'm like, okay, if something like that happens and you do not let him go, then I'm personally going to call President McCollum and say, Mike's got to go. President McCollum and I, we had to drinks in New Orleans a couple years ago. So he and I are good friends as far as I'm concerned. And I will voice my opinion. No, if they lose to Wake, even if it's a close game and it's a walk-off field goal by Wake, it needs to happen. Like, what is the point of belaboring this? We're already hearing that UF is in talks potentially with Lane Kiffin. Why would you put yourself behind the 8 ball when there's a lot of openings of decent jobs and just allow other good coaches to get swallowed up while you sit here and twiddle your thumbs and say, "Oh, we'll wait until November," and then or December, end of November, I guess, because you're not going to a bowl game this year, and then your recruiting class falls completely apart. Get ahead of things. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if they will. I'm at like 20%. I think you could lose to Wake by 20 and they still won't do it. I don't think it's happening.
If that happens, I'm TJ. I don't know. Like, I will continue to give to boosters. I will continue to give to Battle's End, but like my investment emotionally in this program is done at that point. I will watch the games. I will turn the TV on and I will sit on the couch and just bitch and moan and be the worst husband possible as Lindsay sits next to me during every Florida State game.
It feels like And again, we've talked about this, but it feels like at the end of the day, we're not going to look back next November, right? No matter what the record is through 2 months, we're not going to look back and be like, oh man, well, I'm really glad they fired him in October, or I'm really glad they've waited until, end of November. I just think the apathy is so much there that I wonder what the crowd looks like. We'll talk about this more on Wednesday, but I wonder if people even show up. Um, and that's, I think they would have more so had a change been made, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe they wouldn't have in that situation either. Quick reminder as we take off, Sleeper has a free $20 entry for you if you use our code DFNS on their app. Check their terms and conditions because terms of use do apply. But again, you don't have to deposit anything. Just go get your free $20 entry by using our code DFNS on the Sleeper app today.